Sacred moments. Sacred moments with you. Sacred moments. Yeah. Enter in sacred moments. I'm here in this space on this day with you. I'm here in this sacred space witnessing the morning dew. Sacred moments. In voice and in victory, we will share our thoughtful view, converse. Sacred moments. Sacred moments with you. Sacred moments. Yeah. Enter in sacred moments. I'm here in this space on this day with you. I'm here in this sacred space witnessing the morning dew. Sacred moments. In voice and in victory, we will share our thoughtful view, conversing and even challenging things we thought we knew. Sacred moments.
I'm not sure exactly what's happening, so we're just going to keep rolling through.
Yes. No worries. They cutting off my own little thing that I'm but it is fine. It is sacred moments with you. Okay, amen. So good morning. Good morning. We had a couple little technical glitches. Those things happen, and we just keep it moving. We are happy to be here with you. I am Reverend B. Michelle Horton, and my super duper producer, co-host, producer, owner of the streaming radio stations, Khadija Alter Ego. We are here. We are live, and we are happy.
Yep, you can sing your song. You can sing your song.
You know what? I had a couple songs in my head today. There's a song I've been singing, just the chorus. And then I was like, no, that's a little bit too much. Then there was another one. You know what? I got to get a song together just for us. Sacred moments. We say good morning to you. Sacred moments. We are here with you. Alter Ego. She's in the house too. Sacred moments. We're happy to be with you. Sacred moments. We are happy to be with you. One more time. Sacred moments. We are happy to be with you.
Just freestyle. I like it.
That was right off the top of my head. I was like, I was singing and praying at the same time. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. So, hey, audience, good morning. We hope you are well. We hope everybody is on. We hope you're coming on. And when you do, listen, we love to see your good mornings, hellos in the chat. So enter in. We always start out talking about our week. So here we go. How was your week, Alter Ego? Do you want to talk about it?
Okay, you talk about your week. My week was okay.
This week was busy. Like it was one of the most busiest weeks. We're in that the Advent season for the Christian faith, where we are. Advent means we're looking back and remembering the coming of Jesus, and we be in preparation and anticipation, expectation, hope, joy, peace, love are kind of the four foundations of this season. So been pretty good as far as that, but it's been very, very busy. This is my fourth day in a row doing some kind of speaking engagement, a ministry. It's just been a lot, but it's been good because I love to write. I think people like to hear me talk sometimes. So it's been a busy season, but it's also been pretty good. I wonder how the audience is, and yours was okay. You said
it was okay. It was one of those I woke up this morning weeks, so it was okay. But I'm here. I woke up every day. The kids are fine. So
yeah. Well, that's important too. Yes, yeah. So I'm very thankful, I would say, and excited for today's show, in the sense that if those that are not on radio, you can't see, but I'm kind of queened out. I got my African head wrap on, I got my red lipstick on, I got my queen earrings because I feel like today is kind of a queenship day. We have a special guest that is going to be joining us momentarily. And I'm just going to start off by just telling you a little bit about her. This show is really entitled, Sisterhood and like SistahWrites. And that's because we have the Queen, Deborah Wright, who is joining us today. She is actually a lead strategist of social justice artist advocacy entity, SistahWrites. She's the founder of multi-genre performance ensemble for Women Collective. She's a founding member of Philadelphia's first female spoken word ensemble. I love that. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In the company of poets, the founding member of the first female one. And so in addition to all of that, and being a spoken word artist herself, having performed numerous social justice and community-based organizations in Philadelphia tri-state area, she's a published essayist. She's got work all over dealing with anthologies and social justice, Black female body, reconciling image and print, all of these wonderful things. She has several awards and grants, especially we want to talk a little bit about with the Leeway Foundation. I think I'm trying to remember exactly when I met her, but she began her, I don't know if she began her artistic journey, but she was at PASA, Pan-African Studies Community Education Program at Temple University, which is where I did some poetry. I learned more about poetry there myself. And so all of these wonderful things, and we're going to talk about her latest book that I am a part of. Yes.
Yay.
Johns. Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. It's another anthology. So we're going to have her come on in the room. We're going to have her come on in the room. Come on in the room. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, I know some of your posse, your sister friends, they're trying to get on. They can get on through Facebook. They can or YouTube and see the show and chat and come on that way so that they can be engaged in this conversation as well. I see Annette did get on. Great. So welcome, Queen.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to be here. I've had this on my calendar since we originally spoke, and it's an honor. It's an honor. My first time being on a podcast. I've never done this before either.
We're making history.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of guests that we have on the majority of our shows, the Besties podcast and this podcast, is usually like their first time. We're like the first stop. So I take pride in that, actually. I like that.
Great.
Yeah. And the fact that it's a sister show, you know what I mean? Like our producer is doing it. let me say this before we get started, because this came through my head this morning. Last month we were, in the holiday of what we call Thanksgiving, and some of us celebrate Thanksgiving for different reasons. I
Mm-hmm.
use it as a time to really be concentrated on thanking God for my blessings. And this morning, I thought about the fact that alter ego, I mean, Khadija, me and her mom are best friends. So I've known her since she was a little girl. That
Mm-hmm.
one day she called me up and said, "You want to do a show?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I got here myself. And I'm like you, I don't even know nothing about the technical part
Yes.
of it. But the fact that she trusted me enough
Mm-hmm.
and gave space, I want to thank you, alter ego.
Oh,
I really do, because you are making a difference in our community. And this would not happen without you and your vision and your passion for wanting the community to be the very best community that we could be. So thank you.
thank you. You're welcome.
I want to add to that because, as you said, the theme for today is sisterhood. And that's really what it is about, that we use whatever gifts that we have and engage with other people and in their own lane. As you said, you really didn't know about this, but, you know, she said, hey, I'm going to walk you through it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I think that that's what sisterhood actually means, when we talk about that.
I thought about that, and you're really confirming something that when I was thinking about you specifically and this particular show, was the word that I felt was collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
I I remember, I was trying to remember when I met you, but I remember coming into your home
Yeah.
and being in the midst of all of these
Yeah.
women sharing that sacred space, right?
Yes. Yes. And in fact, that event that you're referring to, it was 2017, and it was called the Sisterly Love Salon. So we had the poets and the singers and a yoga practitioner and, a children's storyteller and a bookseller. And, it was just really a gathering of women who are sharing their hearts
Yeah,
and their words and, their talents, their gifts. That's
yeah,
what that was.
yeah.
I
I
love
was
that.
so grateful to be invited in that space. And I remember having to leave, but not wanting to leave.
Yes, yes. Hmm.
It
That's
was,
what we're trying to do with the whole goal of Besties and our media company is collaborating and group economics and bringing people together.
Hmm.
And I feel like the women are just the nation builders right now and are going to build up our communities. Um, so I think it's important to have these conversations. We do like to start the show off on a light mood, so we always start with a quirky question. So I did ask the audience already, but we'll ask you guys. Well, I asked Miss Michelle, but we can ask again just in case it's your first time watching. What meal could you eat every day for the rest of your life? You get to pick 3 items.
You first.
oh no, no, I answered last week.
Oh, you answered last week.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so me,
This is for our
um,
guests. And
salmon is one item that I can eat all the time. I love salmon, grilled salmon. Um, I was not a vegetable eater when I was young. I only ate vegetables because, your parents put the vegetables in front of you and you have to eat them. But then
yeah,
after I didn't have to do that, I was like, yuck, thank goodness I didn't have to do that. In fact, we had a dog when I was a kid. And so I would, put the food in my mouth and then cough and put it in my hand. And then the dog would come and get it.
That's too
But in
funny.
any case, there's some vegetables that I like now. String beans, broccoli. I'm not sure if leeks is a vegetable, but if it is, bok choy.
But you can only get 3 that you can eat for the rest of your life. So
Ah,
it's salmon
so
and
salmon. I would say bok choy and yams.
Okay.
good meal.
Hmm.
I
And
like
that
that
said
meal.
turkey ham, collard greens, baked mac and cheese. It was no turkey ham in stock this year. That's funny because I just saw a whole bunch of it though.
Oh
It
yeah.
wasn't any Annette. No
Uh,
turkey. Oh my God.
Laura said pancakes, collard greens, and salmon. Pancakes and collard greens and salmon.
Who
That's too
said
funny.
that?
Laura.
Oh, I see.
Kimberly says salmon with pineapple salsa, brown rice, and cabbage. That sounds
Mm-mm.
good.
That sounds good,
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kia, I don't know if you can hear me. There's a couple people trying to jump on. You can go to bestiesmedia.com and you'll be able to watch the show from there. Anybody who's trying to watch the show.
Oh, great. Yeah. Quite a lot of people. A lot of people are
A
trying to
fresh
jump in.
grocer for your turkey ham.
And Annette
We
said, I
gotta
gotta go get me
collaborate and work together, right?
collaborate. Yeah, I mean, honestly, collaborate instead of compete,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
right? Like another one of the things that I really appreciated, as even I got invited to be a part of the Philly John's book, a 20 plus 20 poetry anthology. So it's 40 different voices in this
Right.
anthology.
Mm-hmm.
And that's collaboration, not competing with each other and hearing each other's voices
Right.
from
Right.
that perspective of collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah. And the story about that is like the complete story. Was one of the things that we've talked about even between you and I is
Yeah.
about healing and what that looks like, and self-care and those kind of things. And so that this book project began, um, I almost want to use the word selfishly, but it really was about my own self-care,
Hmm.
um, because I was in a space where um, that was challenging, and that is for any of us is ongoing. It comes in different degrees, but it was
Hmm.
particularly challenging. My stepdaughter had passed away
Mhm.
the year before on Thanksgiving Day, and you know still in mourning, still in grief. But I read somebody had posted about um, gratitude, and how that would be helpful. That while you're going through challenges, you also have to be grateful,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
whatever those blessings are, and you
Hmm.
can literally, count them, at least one every day. Like if
Hmm.
you thought about it, you really could do that. In any case, so what I did at first was, I was posting shout outs on social media to women that I have known, many of them in this book, for a long period of time, back on the poetry circuit when we were
Yeah.
at Vibes and Verse, and I
Hmm.
don't know if you were there, Pat McLean and
Yeah. Yeah.
Charles Younger, Nish Pugh, so many people. But I wanted to give shout out to those sisters, as well as um, because and you started to, let's say, my journey started at PASET, the Pan African Studies Community
Okay.
Education Program, and so these are sisters that I had met in in starting in that program. So I was
Hmm.
just given weekly shout outs on Sundays. It was like a testimony, right?
Wow.
And then speaking of leeway, I came up with the idea, and leeway grant was available to apply at that time. And I thought, oh, I'll make this into a coffee table book, that all of us can, see and remember our journey, from way back when, as I said. And so I didn't get that grant, but by then I was totally immersed in the idea of being grateful to these sisters that I had journeyed with. And so that's how the book came about. I didn't know how I was going to fund it, to be quite honest. I was just committed to doing it.
To that
And
project, yeah.
yeah, I was just committed. So I really didn't know how it was going to happen. And I tell you, and Khadija, earlier before we got on, you mentioned the universe. There's a quote by an author named Paulo Coelho. He says, if you want something enough, the universe will make it happen. Like, you gotta really, really want it, Well, the ladies that are in the book, they started making donations to me. Financial donations to help me, put it together, and even buying books in advance. So this is what helped fund it, because I could not have done it by myself. I mean, really. So, Khadija, I really love the language of collaboration that you're speaking about. I could not have done it without these women. It would not be what it is without these women. And of course, there's many more, In fact, I had originally was going to do 20, and I had a kind of a core group of women that from a previous publication. So I was originally going to do that. But people started reaching out to me, right? And I was like, oh, I can't turn my sisters away, right? So that's how the idea of 20 plus 20, because we were in 2020 when this happened, And so I said, oh, play on words, 20 plus 20. So I'm going to up it to 40, And, I'm just grateful, that it's really, and I'm not sure if Karen Smith is on here, but Karen would always say to me, trust the process. Trust the process, So I was moving forward without knowing what the outcome would be.
Have you always been a writer?
Well, I've been a writer, as in my bio since, okay, let me take that back. I was going to say since Passette, but really, I will answer the question by saying I've always been a reader. And I since I was a child, in fact, in my bookcase, my bedroom headboard, my headboard on my bed was a bookcase, because my parents knew, out of my other two sisters, that I was the one who was like the reader, just reading. And so, I think the writing just developed from that. But, and here we are talking about SistahWrites and healing, but the writing also came from a perspective of, like, the writing is me talking to myself, like putting words on paper, talking to myself. And I think that is a process for me in particular, and it can help other people depending on what your thing is, that leads to the healing, that, you say something to yourself.
I want to share two quotes just for a little bit expansion of conversation. And this one is from someone that I admire, got to meet, took a picture with, look at from time to time. It's from Sonia Sanchez. And she said this as far as writing: I probably have not killed anyone in America because I write. I've maintained good control over myself by writing.
Yes.
poetry is subconscious conversation. This is what you're saying.
Yes.
It is as much the work of those who understand it and those who make it.
So
I think
that gets some
powerful.
snaps. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And without even, like, I think when you use whatever creativity you are gifted with, you are learning in the process. You don't know, like I didn't know as a 7-year-old that this would be helping me, that this thing called writing and putting down my thoughts. And then, another thing that Sonia said, I love Sonia Sanchez too as well. She said, learn your craft. Okay. Because we can put thoughts on papers. That's one thing, but that poetry writing is a craft. It's an art form, just like playing an instrument, just like, whatever it is that you do that is artistic. Well, then you have to learn some things,
Yeah.
And so I became committed to that when I went to PASEP, actually.
Yeah.
That's when it really became a thing. So, Khadijah, in answer to your question, yeah, I was writing little stuff here and there, but I committed to it at PASEP. And so that was 25 years ago or so.
Who were your teachers at PASEP for it?
Dr. Regina Jennings was my teacher. She taught a poetry workshop called New Black Voices. And Pat McLean was in that class. I don't know if Pat is online, but that's actually where I met Pat. And yeah. So, we're in the workshop together, and unbeknownst to us, Dr. Jennings had submitted our work to a poetry contest at Drexel University, which was actually the Sonia Sanchez Audre Lorde poetry writing competition. Pat McLean Smith won first place, and I won second place. And that's how we became fast friends. It was funny because she had been to the class, more than once. And so a couple of times she even facilitated the class if Dr. Jennings couldn't be there. And I was just in awe of her anyway. She was on the side of the room close to the window, and I was sitting by the door, and people who knew me before all of this, before, like my face and my name started to become what it is, like back in junior high and high school, they are shocked because they know I'm really introverted, so, it's just like, what? You are on a stage, but that's why I sat, I'm too nervous to do this thing, like I'm here because I can write, and writing it, of course, is a singular activity. The performance came later, again, with Pat founded the group in the Company of Poets. And so, even that, back to what Sonia said, when Pat formed the group, I would literally be home practicing in the mirror to do my poem, practicing breathing, so it was not just about memorization. It was about how do you deliver with confidence and conviction of the words that you have put on paper. It's just because you write it doesn't mean that you can, speak it for people to receive it in the way that you want it to be received. So that is another form of art, spoken word. That is another form of art, and so it's just hasn't, from then, I've just always been really committed to learning, really.
And then you have that again, maybe I'm going to overuse the word, these collaborations to the need, like things are being met because we're sensing something together.
Yes.
Who as God places people in certain spaces, I think we sense that this is where I should be. This is, you know, I'm being very careful and going forward in my life, who I align myself with.
Yes, yes.
You know, and authenticity is important. Honesty is important.
Yes, yes.
You know,
Yes.
helping another sister and not having it be you know, broadcasted
Competition.
all over the world. Right.
That's
Yeah,
it's really important, because I keep recently hearing that Black women don't get along, or that's why I don't have a lot of female friends. You know, we can't get along. And so when we do these shows and we go out and meet people, you know, it proves that theory wrong time and time again. We are working together. We are collaborating. We are making things happen together. You just have to find your people. But I mean, I don't know if that's a generational thing too. Because I know sometimes, like right below, like because I'm 40 something now, but the age group right below me, they do really seem to have a problem with working together. Somebody is always stealing an idea. Somebody is not, you know, being genuine, like you said, Miss Michelle, authenticity. But it's happening, and it's happening a lot. So I just appreciate you for the work that you're doing. We hear you saying develop your craft by learning from others and growing together. Yeah, absolutely. That's from the Fellowship of Women Clergy.
Yeah. And I want to actually speak to that, what you're saying about younger people, because I'm a seasoned citizen, by the way. Okay. Right. Right. Michelle, we are, yeah. One of the women in the book, Sherry Wilson Butler, I'm going to shout out names. Her poem is called Seasoned Woman, you know, and so we're there because we have learned some things. And so I think one of the things, and Sonia also has spoken about this, we have to give young people room to grow into, you know, who they will be, you know, because I mean, you don't come out thinking about you know, people may want to be known, famous, you know, and all of that. And then when you learn some things and you've experienced some things, that has the potential to fall away, you know. And this is again, like, you know, back to me doing the book, it's because I've learned some things, you know. So you know, yes, the book is on sale on Amazon, or you could buy it from me, but that's not the purpose. You see what I'm saying? That's not the purpose. If that happens, that's great, you know, but it's more about the word and the collaboration, you know, and the sisterhood. That's what it really is about. And so, you know, even in the book, I call it the last word, which is mine, you know, and let the ancestors speak. But a number of women said to me, you know, are you going to put your poem in there? You're going to put your bio in there? And what I'm saying about that is, you all are demonstrating who I am. Your presence demonstrates who I am. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you have come together. So I don't need to say, you know, much of anything. You know what I'm saying? The fact is, you all said yes. You all said yes, you can do this. You know, you can put my poem in that book. And so that has also allowed me to continue a collaboration by saying, well, hey, there's this event happening, you know, and you know, they're looking for poets. You know, can you be a part of that? You know,
that's what you've done.
Exactly. And then, you know, also, and several of the women have said to me, because again, we're dealing in a time, you know, like a time that we have never experienced before with this pandemic. And, you know, so it kept us isolated, very, very isolated in 2020 and of course, going into this year. And so it's given them an opportunity to share, you know, and there's a saying, sharing is caring. So, you know.
I want to read. Let me read the comments. Annette said, I know some millennials who are about collaborating and not competing also. That's refreshing. They love seasoned citizens. And then we have, this one is Laura. She's proud to be a part of the Philly Jones Poets. Her poem, as you say, It gave her an opportunity to express her feelings of systematic racism in higher education. Miss Deborah gave me the opportunity to express myself, which helped me to heal and move on and facing and dealing with the injustice I experienced in the workplace. You stirred up something in her that was dormant for a time. You are a real sister friend, and you've been a blessing that came into her life during the time. It's not showing the whole thing, but that was an awesome testimony.
Shout out
how
to
wonderful you are.
I just have to shout out to Laura. Laura Reddick and I worked together for 8 years. She retired in January of this year. But she called me to speak to that story. We were having our meeting, work meeting. And she said, I want to share this poem with you. This is before the book idea came about. And I was like, wow, I'm just getting ready to submit my poem to this online project called Short Edition. I said to her, you should submit that poem too. I mean, she couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, this I love this poem. Like, you are saying something. And so, yeah, it was a competition and people had to read it and we had to get votes and, but that was the thing that, as she said, awakened something in her because she had won a poetry contest many years before, And so my confirmation of her work gave her the impetus to say, you know what? Yeah, I can do this. And, she was up there in the competition, so that's without necessarily thinking about it, is what I do, and so this is what I know about myself, that I am a collaborator, that, and I have to say too, that I think that evolved from being a caregiver, understanding that I've been a caregiver, to, first to my mom, may she rest in peace, but from a very early, as a child, I was one of the 6 that my father said, I need you to help me, with your mother, my mother was mentally disabled, and so from early on, I guess now, like the buzzword is empathy, like I was developing empathy as a child, and thinking about other people, I like to say my religion is love. You know what I'm saying? That because you have to care about yourself and other people, like no matter what your religious belief is, if you have love and you come from a place of love, that in itself is I would say it is a belief in how you operate in the world. That is like my spiritual practice is that, and so I'm a caregiver, I'm a helper, I'm a collaborator, I'm a supporter, those are the ways in which I identify myself. And again, back to young people, I didn't know that, like I know now that it started then. But when I was 19, 20, 21, like, what did I know? I wanted what I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
I still want what I want sometimes too.
Yeah. And it's okay. And when you mix it all together. Right. Yeah. Like it's okay.
Yeah. So let me share with you this next quote. Oh God, let me find it. And this is from our friend, actually. This was on her page. I saw it on Pat McLean's page. And it says this about writing. You got to resurrect the pain within you and give it a place to live. That's not within your body.
That gave me chills.
Let it live in art. Let it live in writing. Let it live in music. let it be devoured by building brighter connections. It says that your body is not a coffin for pain to be buried in.
Wow.
Put it someplace else. And then Pat writes that she started, organizing and creating space. Of course, we know her, like you, to be just an amazing artist in many ways.
Right.
But when I read that, I went back to thinking that's kind of how I started writing. It was really from some places of, seriously writing,
Yes.
from places of pain.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do with it. I could continue to eat myself crazy, drink, sleep in all kind of beds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it was something that happened when I wrote that was right for me to release that stuff that was sitting in me and actually in some ways slowly killing me.
Exactly.
Roberta Flack says, killing me softly.
Yes. Woo! Yeah. Woo! That's a testimony right there.
Helping me. It's been helping me since I started writing. I still don't know if I'm going to release it. Like I, talked to Miss Michelle and a couple other authors. When you're writing about your life and the people that you're writing about are still here, it's like, I don't know. But it's been helping me because I haven't been sleeping well. So if I'm up, I'm just like, let me just write a little bit more. And it's also helping me to remember because I realized that I block a lot out. But as the more I write, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember now. So it's definitely helpful. I might burn it.
And you said about release. The fact that you wrote it, you are releasing it.
Come on.
Okay, so you wrote it and you put it on paper. That is a release. Whether or not, again, whether you share it with the larger world or in a book form or whatever and make money, that's secondary to the step that you have taken that you just admitted will help you and has been helping you, to remember and to get some things out. And so time is infinite.
It's kind of like we talked about on another show where I was saying, like, on my birthday, this birthday, I'm deciding to say no to things that I don't want to do, even though other people are saying, you're good at that, you should do that. Or like with the book, it will help so many people. So it's kind of like a guilt trip. Like I'm not released. Well, I released it, like you said. I'll accept that. But do I want to put it out to the larger world because it might help someone else? But at what expense? So because I made that commitment to myself that I'm going to be more intentional about loving on me, I'm definitely going to get it down. But like you said, it was never my intention to try to make money or anything. It was kind of like helping. I couldn't get the therapy. I couldn't do, some of the things that people were suggesting. I'm like, you know what? Let me just write it down. So it's definitely helpful. And I'm glad you said that because I didn't think about it like that. I definitely am releasing it by putting it down on paper, and I have it. I actually carry it around with me because I don't want nobody to see it. So yeah, I appreciate that. Kia Knight said it's emotional for her. She's working on a spiritual autobiography, and she's releasing a lot of things.
Yes. We and we talk about women and sisterhood, and and then we also talk about Black women together. We carry a lot. We've been carrying a lot. I wrote, and this also, Khadijah, will speak to your point. So in 2017, I had submitted an abstract to this conference in London, a creative writing conference. And the piece I wrote was called My Mother's Tongue. And it really was about my mom and me and a relationship. I called it a memoir in 4 vignettes, meaning that it was brief. It's like 9 pages long, and it incorporates some of my poetry to tell the story of our dynamic, but a broader story. And I had always wanted to, like for years, wanted to be able to tell her story without with dignity, because there's this stigma about mental health. And so I always thought, how could I do this? So in 2017, I got the opportunity to do it. In fact, my husband had presented at the conference the year before. He's an English professor at Community College of Philadelphia. And when he came back, because I didn't go with him, he said, Deb, you should try, submit the abstract and see what happens. So they accepted it and I presented it. Again, that was 2017. And then last year, 2020, Karen Smith, she might be on here, invited me to do a reading. She said, you have 20 minutes. This thing was 20 minutes long. And I said to her, well, can I do this? She didn't hear it. She said, sure. I read it online. We were on Zoom. Fast forward, she said, you know what? I see this as a very visual piece. And so 2 weeks ago at the Fragments Fest that Karen had hosted, it was presented. I had one of the ladies, Aziza Kebe, was a vocalist for me. Donna Dorman portrayed the role of my mother. And just to be clear on that, my mother was very soft-spoken, quiet, except that this was this thing that was the challenge for her, the mental illness. Donna was brilliant in her portrayal because she was just brilliant. And a young lady who was a dancer that Karen had introduced me to, that I did not recognize that presentation. Karen said, we're going to have conversation after the presentation. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know. What would people ask me? Like, when did you write it or whatever? No. We had 20-minute testimonies, people who were sharing about either their own mental challenges, mental health challenges, or a person, a loved one that they had experienced. And basically, the outcome of that was, wow, this was a very healing experience. And not only that, moving forward, I plan to have something that will include some of the other ladies who were present in May for Mental Health Awareness Month, something similar to what Karen had done, because I recognized the power in that, So this, this is what I say when I talk about SistahWrites and Sister Heals. So back to and I can see Kia's comment. It's a spiritual practice as well. It's part of the spiritual practice. When you back to what you said, Khadija, you release it on paper, no matter where it comes. But look at the journey, this piece that I wrote in 2017, and it is 2021. Look at the journey that it has had and will still have, and will still ongoing, and will potentially impact other people. And so again, this is about collaboration and even authenticity. Like part of it is, you're learning yourself. You're getting to know yourself. And so as you do that, these things that make, here's another word, brings you joy, can happen. Because the trials and tribulations, they're not going to stop. But you have to. I'm a big proponent of thinking about what is the thing or the two things or the 20 things that bring you joy.
Yeah. So this has just been like, this could be a 2-hour show easily because I honestly felt, I'm gonna be really transparent. I felt in this space that you were here for the audience, but you all were here to connect with Khadija in a way that is going to move her forward in this wonderful sharing, writing, releasing moment. I felt that right here. And that's what this show is about. Like, we don't always know how it's going to go, but the intention, the intention that we come with, is that they're going to be healing, that there's going to be inspiration, that there's going to be enlightenment, that there's going to be a holiness that takes
Yes.
place in this space. And that is what has happened. And
Yes.
again, like, we're planning out 2022, so we plan to come back. Okay.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
we may bring some of the sisters from
Yes,
Philadelphia.
I would love that. I would love to
Yeah.
We have
have.
to make it a 2-hour show. We can have like a forum conversation
Yes.
about just, releasing and healing through writing or something like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to say, before I, say my thank yous, as the Spirit has led, when we've been hearing this word release, I want to invite this audience, that will be on. We will be having, and I'll have it posted at some point, but on my Facebook page, Author B Michelle, and also my Facebook page, B Michelle Horton. I'm going to be posting some information about a release service. We're having a service called Release at the end of the year, where
Oh,
we're going. Yeah, I'm anticipating it's going to be really powerful. The word that God had spoke to me was release. And at the end of this year,
see
it's
how the
going to be,
universe works? This
I'm
is
telling
this
you,
is oh my goodness.
we're going to have some sisters that are going to be praying specifically. We're going to have some reading. We're going to do something really wonderful that I'm only going to talk about with those that register, practically releasing some things so that we can go into 2022 free from that stuff,
Yeah.
free from trauma, shame,
Mm-hmm.
guilt, unforgiveness. We got a couple things that we're really, really looking at, and whatever we're bringing, so that we can do what that quote said, that our bodies don't become a coffin,
Yes.
or as traumas that have been passed down and that we're holding ourselves, that we
Yes.
can be released from that. So if you're interested in that, check out Sacred Space Ministries on Friday at 6:30 p.m. and my Facebook page. And I just want to say to Queen Debra Powell-Wright, this has been an amazing and wonderful conversation. Again, we could have gone on, and we are definitely going to look at trying to get you back here in 2022 and just have this wonderful collaborative,
Yes.
sister friend, sisterhood, SistahWrites session. And more of us will be blessed by this conversation.
Yes.
So
I
thank
just
you
want to
so much.
we usually end here. I just want to say one last thing: the importance of showing up for yourself and for your business. Because I had a very rough morning, and this is why I don't like to cancel shows, and this is why I keep going, because you never know what's there for you. Like, this was
That's
a great
right.
conversation. It helped me. It helped other people who are listening. And if I would have said, "Oh, I don't feel well, let me not do it," even with me not feeling well, I was able to sit up. I was able
Yes.
to listen, and I was able to talk. So just keep that in mind, guys. Just continue to show up if you can, because it's a blessing out there for you. A word, a conversation, a person, just anything, and you don't want to miss out on that. So
Yeah.
everybody is saying it's a great show. Thank you for joining. Make sure you go to the link so you can sign up for our network as we grow. You don't want to miss the shows. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Audible. And thank you. Oh, before we go, can you just tell the people where they can find you, Miss Wright, if they want to send you a
Oh,
message or anything?
my email address is mzwrightnow@msn.com, and I give out my phone number 267-334-1526. Because I look at it and I'm saying, okay, if they want to get me, because I don't answer numbers I don't know, they'll leave a message, and then
Amen.
I
That's
can
right.
know.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
exactly how I roll too. Yeah.
yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank
Wonderful
you. I
show.
appreciate you. I appreciate both of you. Oh my goodness, this really was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Blessings to all that are listening and watching. We pray that you have a simply amazing day, a wonderful week. Keep your ears open for our next show. It's gonna be fire like this one was. And we thank our guest. Listen, give her a round of applause. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. I'm very loud and I'm very appreciative. Deborah Wright Powell, Queen, bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I look forward to the next time you're back on the show. Have a
Appreciate
great week,
you.
everybody. Peace
Thank
and
you. Have a
blessings.
good one. Be well.